Hey, welcome back to Unveiling Buddhism. Can you believe it? We are celebrating a huge milestone, our 50th episode. A big thank you to all our subscribers for being part of this journey. Your support keeps us going, and we are excited to continue unveiling the wisdom of the Buddha together. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Join us to learn, reflect, and grow on this path. Back in episode 47, we began exploring the Buddha's first teaching, focusing on the first noble truth, the truth that dukkha, or suffering, exists. Then in episode 48, we dived into the second noble truth, where the Buddha revealed that the cause of dukkha is tanha, or craving. Moving on to episode 49, we discussed the third noble truth, dukkha, or suffering, can be ended simply by removing craving. And logically, we've asked, how can we remove craving? Is there a way to do so? Yes, this brings us to the Four Noble Truths, the practical roadmap to eliminating all forms of suffering from our minds, ultimately leading to a lasting state of happiness, nirvana. Think of it as the ultimate operating system for your mind, a complete overhaul for lasting peace and well-being. Sounds complicated? It's a broad topic, so we'll start by laying the groundwork for this roadmap, focusing on the foundational elements. The first factors, right view. We begin our journey with the first step of the Eightfold Path, right view, also known as right understanding. This principle is fundamental in shaping how we perceive the world. It's about seeing things clearly, understanding them as they truly are, and transforming the way we relate to life. Most of us love wearing rose-colored glasses, viewing the world through our preferred lenses. In other words, we assume that everything will be perfect, permanent, or at least predictable. And this right here is where our problems begin. To cultivate the right view, we need to recognize certain fundamental truths. These are not rules created by the Buddha, but rather the laws of nature. The Buddha simply realized where we fail to grasp these truths, and because of that, we entangle ourselves in dukkha, or suffering. Right view teaches us to recognize impermanence. Everything is constantly changing, and nothing in this world lasts forever. Whether it's relationships, possessions, or even our own emotions. Take Mark and Lisa for example. Their 3-year relationship was put at risk when Lisa got posted to another country for work. Or think about the stock market. One day it's soaring, the next it crashes. Interest rates fluctuate, our bodies age, and friends come and go. This is the natural flow of life, neither good nor bad. It simply is. Just as tides rise and recede, and the sun rises and sets, everything is in constant motion. But when we resist this truth, we invite suffering into our lives. Attachments make us vulnerable, like getting devastated when our new car gets scratched, or clinging to resentment over a missed promotion like Aisha, who let it eat away at her well-being. When we refuse to acknowledge impermanence, we convince ourselves that things should not change. We expect relationships to last forever, careers to stay stable, and people to remain the same. And when reality proves otherwise, we feel crushed. However, right view does not mean we should avoid relationships, ambition, or material success. It doesn't mean we should not work hard for our careers, strive for promotions, or even enjoy wealth and property. Rather, it teaches us to engage with life while understanding its transient nature, to appreciate but not cling. Always stay ready for change and never assume things will remain the same. True wisdom arises when we learn to navigate life without being ruled by temporary feelings or fleeting desires. Right view on karma, cause and effect. At its core, right view is about seeing things as they truly are, not through wishful thinking. For example, we would not expect a perfect sunny-side-up egg to magically appear on our plate without first obtaining an egg, preparing a pan, lighting a fire, and cooking it properly. Even ordering one at a restaurant requires effort. This is cause and effect in action. Results arise when the right cause and conditions are created. Understanding this law of karma, that our actions, thoughts, and words have consequences, helps us take responsibility for our own lives. Think of people who casually toss plastic waste into the environment, assuming it's someone else's problem. Over time, that pollution seeps into water sources, contaminates the fish we eat, and eventually comes right back to our own plates. Our choices shaped the world, not just for others, but for ourselves. Right view encourages us to look beyond surface appearances and recognize that everything is interdependent. Our actions affect others, just as others' actions affect us. So when we assume that dumping our problems elsewhere won't affect us, or that turning a blind eye to others' suffering has nothing to do with us, we're failing to see the bigger picture. But by cultivating compassion, we don't just reduce our own suffering, we also contribute to easing the suffering of those around us. Right view and the Four Noble Truths. The views that lead to nirvana are those revealed in the Four Noble Truths, such as the understanding that craving leads to suffering or dukkha. How does this insight benefit our lives? In a modern world driven by consumerism and ambition, we are conditioned to believe that endless craving fuels success and personal growth. Upgrading to the latest phone, chasing luxury homes, or constantly seeking more are seen as progress. Yet these pursuits often bring stress, dissatisfaction, and endless cycle of wanting that never truly fulfills us. By internalizing the truth that craving causes dukkha or suffering, we gain the clarity to recognize when desire leads to suffering. When faced with disappointment, whether it's a missed promotion or an unmet expectation, a simple mental check helps us choose contentment over frustration. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it frees us from unnecessary distress, allowing us to move forward with wisdom, balance, and true peace of mind.
What does the practice of right view mean?
The practice of right view is not mystical, but a conscious effort to align our perspectives with the Buddha's wisdom. It requires ongoing self-reflection and mindfulness, reminding ourselves to cultivate contentment, trust that right actions lead to happiness, and not be troubled by cravings. This is a gradual process. Internalizing right view takes time, but as it deepens, it reshapes how we perceive and respond to the world. When we truly internalize right view, we begin to dismantle the illusions that fuel our suffering. It allows us to see beyond conditioned beliefs that tie happiness to craving and empower us to break free from this cycle. However, this transformation does not happen overnight. It requires conscious effort and commitment to adopting right view in our daily lives. The beauty of right view is that it does not demand an immediate or a forced renunciation of the world, only seeing it clearly. It's not about eliminating all desires immediately, but about understanding that clinging to fleeting things only leads to heartache. By aligning ourselves with reality as it is, rather than how we wish it to be, we pave the way for true wisdom, peace, and freedom.
What is the definition of right? And how do we determine whether a perspective is right or wrong?
When we think about the word right, it's easy to fall into the trap of rigid rules and black and white thinking. But holistically, the definition of right is far more fluid. It doesn't depend on strict laws or a narrow view of the world. Instead, the formula is simple. We can define something as right when the resulting actions, words, and thoughts are not harmful, but are instead beneficial to both ourselves, and others. This approach shifts the focus from rules to the consequences of our behavior. What we say, do, and think should serve to nurture well-being rather than cause harm. In this way, right becomes a guide for actions that foster harmony, compassion, and understanding. We'll dive deeper into this understanding when we explore right intention, which helps us align our internal motivations with what is beneficial in a more conscious and intentional way. Gradually, this transformation will shape our habits and define our character. As we can see, happiness or even nirvana is not a mystical attainment, but a reality realized through conscious effort to align our lives with wisdom and truth. And that's just the beginning. In the next episode, we'll dive into right intention. See ya.